Sometimes you ask the pastor, and sometimes the pastor asks you. Hey guys, I'm Pastor Trent, and here with a special edition of Ask the Pastor. I have been privileged over the last 2 months to be addressing questions from my congregation that have been sent in to me. Questions dealing with all sorts of different topics having to do with women in ministry, the word Sheol in the Bible, free will and determinism. We've looked at end times prophecy. We've looked at mind, body, soul, and spirit. What does the Bible mean when it talks about those terms? We looked at a whole lot of different topics. And now I want to ask you some questions about this series. Has it been helpful? Are there any suggestions? And could it be improved? I've enjoyed answering questions over these last couple of months, and it's always encouraging to see that people are interested in good theology and practice, particularly the questions that have to do with how to be a faithful Christian in the home and as a parent or as a husband or father, or even questions that are theologically significant, having to do, again, with determinism and free will, the interplay between those two things. And so I have some ideas of in this new season, as I've done this for a couple of months now. There's been 8 different editions of Ask the Pastor. I have a few ideas of my own, but I'm always up for feedback and some constructive criticism. As long as it's constructive, I'm definitely open to that. Any ideas that you might have. And so here's a few things that I have thought of as I'm thinking in the future. Wanted to start this series. Initially, the purpose behind it was really to indeed answer the questions of the curious within my congregation, those who genuinely have questions that are unanswered in their own lives. And sometimes I get questions just on a personal one-to-one level. Sometimes it's questions that somebody has that someone's asked them and they don't know how to answer this other person. And so I wanted to do it just to try to help answer some of the curious questions people have. Also to stretch myself. There's things that I don't know, and there's things I have to research to prepare to answer questions. And it's helped to stretch me as a pastor, as a leader, to help understand things that I don't fully understand myself. So that's been helpful as well. But just want to get your take, your feedback. If you'll leave some comments or even email me at trent@hillcrestrayford.com. I want to hear from you. And let me give some of my ideas of what I think would be cool to do in the future. And if that's something that you are interested in, hey, chime in. One thing I've thought of is doing a Truth with Trent segment where I'll talk about a certain controversial, perhaps, topic that's maybe new to the world. One of those things that's really been on my mind lately is artificial intelligence and what are biblical ways of using artificial intelligence, or should we even use artificial intelligence in certain scenarios? What are ethical principles behind using AI as it's becoming such a largely used resource in so many different areas? Almost every app has an AI component, and I see a lot of people in my church using AI for different things, rightly or wrongly. And so I want to help us think through some of those things. So maybe that would be a cool topic in the future, and maybe just introducing certain topics and maybe even doing series on those topics. That's one thing that I think would be interesting. Maybe you would too. Also, maybe Ask the Pastor live. If I did this instead of pre-recording these, if I did one live, would that be something that you're interested in? And just, off the top of my head with my Bible in front of me, just trying to answer some questions. And even whether or not they're theological questions, they could be personal questions about my life or about ministry in general. Also had the idea of like doing a video on how to be a faithful Christian in Rayford in Oak County. That might sound weird, but like, how can you be a faithful Christian in your context, right? Like where God has placed you. Every place has its own culture, its own unique challenges to the gospel and being part of like the Bible Belt here in Rayford and Hoke County. There's some unique things. So just want to hear from you. Here's some feedback. What do you think about this series? If you've watched Ask the Pastor, has it been coherent enough? Have I been clear enough about some of these answers on these different questions? Or are there some ways that I can improve, that we can improve to get some more engagement or perhaps to reach more people? One thing that's been encouraging is not only have these videos on YouTube and Facebook been reaching many within my congregation here, but part of the goal too is to try to reach other people outside of our church, and praise God for advances in technology that allow us to do that. So any insight that you might have would be helpful to me. So again, some questions I'd like for you to answer are, has this series been helpful? If you haven't caught all the episodes, you can go back. There's a playlist on our YouTube channel, Hillcrest Rayford. You can go back on the reels on our Facebook page and watch all of those. Maybe the format is too long or too short. I don't know. Some people like longer forms of content where it's 2 or 3 hours, like for some certain podcasts. And some people like shorter things. Been trying to work on doing some shorts with sermons and things like that. And sometimes those are engaging in our short attention span world. So let me know, hey, maybe the length needs to be different. Maybe the timing needs to be different about when they're posted. Maybe it should be live instead of pre-recorded. And any suggestions that you might have of moving forward and doing future editions of Ask the Pastor or even something else. So we'd love to hear from you, and appreciate anyone and everyone who has tuned in to Ask the Pastor. And I look forward to hearing from you soon, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye.